Hello, everybody. This is Tiffany with Match a Resident. Welcome to our residency prep blog series. And today we're going to talk with Tanja Blazin about her experience as an IMG and the match application process. So welcome, Tanja.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, we're excited to learn all about you and see how things are going as we are rapidly approaching September 29th. So if you'd like to start by introducing yourself and letting us know a little bit about your background.
So my name is Tanja and I'm from Serbia. That's a small country in South Europe. I graduated in 2019. And then I started preparing my steps after graduation, and I passed step 1 and step 2 and also OET. And now I'm finally FMG certified. So I'm happy that I will apply with certification. And what else? This journey was actually quite unusual for me because not a lot of people and students from my country are applying for US. Mostly people from Europe are actually applying for Germany if they want to leave the country. So it was quite challenging for me to prepare all of this by myself without any guidance or any friend that I can study with. But I'm happy that it's all done now and it's going good actually. So I'm very excited about this match season.
And are you in the States now as you're preparing for the match?
Yes, I actually came to States in February because I had my clinical rotation in Florida. And now I'm back to Massachusetts, where I actually worked some non-medical jobs in order to cover all the match expenses. And I'm still here. And I'll stay here till the end of the season, I think till January. And then I'm going back home to Serbia to deal with visa problem and everything. And then if I match, hopefully I will be back in June next year.
Okay, so I was going to ask you to talk about any obstacles or challenges you faced as an IMG, and you mentioned two. You mentioned that you've kind of been on your own for the duration of the journey so far, and then also some visa struggles. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I started, I think I actually wasted a lot of time because I had no idea where to start and what resources to use, especially for step 1. So I was preparing for step 1 almost 8 months, which I think it's kind of a long period for this. But I just used so many different resources. I even start using my books from my university to review some things, which was a huge mistake. And then finally, when I got to my method and my routine for studying for steps, I was already in 5th month of preparation. And I was really trying so hard to find anyone from my country who is preparing the same. And I couldn't find anybody. So I just found all the information online. And I also had that experience that I found a lot of misinformation, which is also there online. So I think we should be really careful and really selective when reading on Facebook groups and on forums, because it can just delay actually our goal. And I think for step 2, it was way easier because when you go through step 1 and the exam and all that experience, I think for step 2, we are just more prepared because you know what to expect and what way you should prepare and in what way you should study for steps. And then I'm actually so happy that after I passed all my steps and after I finished with everything, I actually met some people from my country who are doing the same. So now I do have some kind of support and we're helping each other with ERAS application and everything. But I think it would be way easier if I had some study partner while I was studying. I think I would not waste so much time. And also other struggle that I would mention, it's definitely financial, because in my country with our average salaries, it's absolutely impossible to cover all the expenses for USMLE. So I had to make some plan how to cover it. And while I was a student, I actually spent 2 summers in United States. We had some program for students where we can come to work some non-medical jobs just to experience culture, to improve our English. It's a really nice program. And then I had some employers who knew me, and then I just contacted them and I asked them after my graduation, can you come back to work? And it actually ended up really nice for me because now I was able to cover all the expenses by myself, even though I did spend some time working non-medical jobs, which is maybe a minus for my application. But in my case, it was really necessary because otherwise I would not be able to apply. So I think those are my two main obstacles that I actually had during this journey.
I'm glad you talked about that because I think that a lot of IMGs can actually relate. We do field a lot of questions about the best ways to prepare for the USMLEs and the same with different financial situations, because as everybody who's applying to the match knows, it is not inexpensive. So I think a lot of people are in the same situation where they've got to work those non-medical jobs. And I don't know that it does take away from your application. I think that's an interesting topic, to take a look at what you've been doing during this time and working to be able to support yourself, and then passing the exams, I think is actually favorable. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I had a lot of questions from my colleagues on my Instagram specifically. They were asking me, so why you just didn't get a job as a doctor and you could earn the money? So the thing is, in my country, and I think we are really specific about that, when you finish your internship and when you get your license, you're not able to get the job right away. They're expecting from you to volunteer. We have something that we call doctor volunteer, which is just you're just working as a doctor and you're not getting paid for a year or even longer. And then when I put everything on paper, I said, okay, I will not wait that much. I just want to start with USMLE as soon as possible. And it was my decision to start this kind of journey because I think it's a faster way. And I just wanted to come here and to start residency as soon as possible. And also, even if I got the job as a doctor, it's still not possible to cover all the expenses with that salary in Serbia. So that's actually my explanation why I chose this route actually.
And what about where you're at now in the process, in the match application process and the ARIS application process? Can you bring us up to speed and give us some insight?
Yes, so I'm actually really grateful that all my letters of recommendation are uploaded already. So I'm done with that part. That's checked from my list, and it caused a lot of stress because you don't want to email your mentor like every 2 weeks. Can you please upload my letter? So I'm really grateful that they did it on time. I also finalized my ERAS application, my ERAS CV. That took a while, to be honest, because I wanted to be perfect and just to be really careful about every section, every description. I even paid a lot of attention even on a hobby section, which was a nightmare for me because I didn't know what to choose. And I think it's really important just to give yourself a time to write that and then to review many, many, many times until you're completely satisfied with your application. So I just want to review it one more time, but I think that's done as well. My medical school transcript and MSP are also uploaded last year. So I was not, no, it was not last year. It was this year, but it was super fast for some reason. It was really good. I didn't wait for a long time for that. The only thing that I'm working on now is personal statement, because I have my personal statement written, but when I read it, maybe it will sound silly, but when I read it, I just still don't see myself in that personal statement, and it's supposed to be really personal. So I'm trying to edit it just for me to be satisfied. And when I read it, to say, okay, this is me, and this is the way how I want to present myself to a program director. So I hope I'll finalize it by the end of next week. Actually, I will for sure, because that's the deadline. And also, I'm making my program list, which is also very time consuming, especially because I'm someone who is really favorizing the programs who are offering H-1B visa, which is really, there's not a lot of choices if you want H-1B visa. I will also apply, of course, to programs who are offering J-1, but related to signaling for supplemental application, I definitely choose programs with H-1B. And that's also another thing that I'm working on. I just finished my supplemental application. I will check it tomorrow, and tomorrow I will submit it, and that's it. So I hope by next Friday I'll be done with everything. That's the plan.
Okay, that's awesome. So you'll be done a little bit ahead of time with a little bit of wiggle room before the deadline of the 29th.
Yeah.
And I know from a previous video that you had put forth for us that you're using the Match a Resident customized program list. Are you finding that helpful, and is it making your program research go a little bit faster? How are you using it and all those kind of things?
So I would not say it's helpful. I would say it was crucial for me because I literally started with that. And if I didn't have Metro Resident, I have no idea where I would start because there's so many programs. So I definitely use Metro Resident, and I used filters that I wanted. And it's really good because we have all those information about visa, about year of graduation, and that compatibility score. So I used Metro Resident to save programs that I found interesting. And then I just check the same programs in Residency Explorer, and I check the specific program website. And that's actually how I made my program list. If I didn't have Metro Resident, I started with Residency Explorer, and it just showed more than 500 programs. And it's very time consuming to go over every single program. And Residency Explorer has way more information, and it just, I don't know, I think this is way more simpler and efficient if we use Metro Resident to save programs. And now, so I saved like 170 programs, if I'm not wrong, in Metro Resident. And then I was checking those programs in Residency Explorer. And if I like it, and if I'm sure that I will apply, then I just change the status on Metro Resident from save to applying. So that's perfect. Then I can have a really, really like organized list of the programs that I will want to apply later. So it's really crucial for me to make my list, definitely.
Sure, that makes sense. And I'm glad you shared some of those details of the customized list, because we have just recently updated our user platform, and we added all those features like the one you talked about, being able to move programs from saved and then to applying. And then the exciting part, of course, is when you start getting interview invitations, and you can click the interviewing button for the different programs. So we're excited for that portion of the journey. I think everybody is. One thing that we forgot to mention at the beginning of the interview was what specialties you are applying to.
I'm applying for internal medicine, categorical,
Okay.
and that's the only specialty that I'm applying for.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap things up for today. And now that we're up to speed on where you're at, we will look forward to checking back in with you just a few days before the 29th, and we'll make sure that you've gotten everything certified and see if there were any last minute hiccups that brought any stress to you and how you dealt with them. And then, of course, we'll check back in further on in the season as well, and we'll see how interviews are going and all of that good stuff. So thank you. Yes, fingers crossed. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk with us, and we'll look forward to next time.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be part of this, and thank you for doing everything for IMGs to help us during these stressful times. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.